have heard of this new fad called the gluten-free diet. Lots of people use it to lose weight, and I'm here to put that myth to rest today because it is not true. So I am serving as your myth buster today as we unravel this, what's the word I'm looking for? This pop culture diet that everyone has been buzzing about. So let's start by talking about what actually is gluten. So gluten, the infamous protein, yep, that's right, you heard it, it is a protein. It is found in wheat, rye, and barley. And some people actually do need to cut gluten out of their diet. It's called celiac disease, and what happens in celiac disease is, so there's these little things, those little hair-like structures called villi, and they line your small intestine, and their job is to absorb nutrients. And so what happens when people with celiac disease eat gluten is the gluten destroys the villi, and therefore they develop chronic malnutrition, and that's how they start to see that something's not right. Another thing that I learned from this article called The Gluten-Free Diet is that there are people who don't have celiac disease, but they have something really similar to where gluten really messes with their system. And so as a result, they have to go on the gluten-free diet themselves. However, everyone else do not. And I'm going to tell you why. So, as I mentioned before, celebrities and public opinion, you might see on those little Snapchat highlight ad things or Facebook about the gluten-free diet. I know I first heard about it from one of my coworkers while working in ISIS. She talked about how she was going to lose weight by going on the gluten-free diet. Then I read an article that my boss gave me, and it put this to rest. It said, no, actually, that's counterproductive. And so that's what sparked my interest for this speech. And so the gluten-free diet is falsely viewed as healthier, according to this article called Is Gluten-Free Diet Good for You? It's actually not healthy for you at all. You can develop malnutrition like symptoms. There's important vitamins and minerals in the bread, the cereal, everything that you can think of that has gluten in it. It's got those important nutrients, man. And you're missing out on them when you go for the alternative gluten-free option. And there is a lady called Rachel Quay. She's a registered dietitian, and she was interviewed for the article I read, Is Gluten-Free Good for You? And whenever they were interviewing her about it, she was like, a cookie is still a cookie, so just because you take the gluten out of it doesn't make it any better for you. Actually, some gluten-free products, like the gluten-free cookies, are worse for you because it's got some weirdly suspicious substitutes in there in place of the gluten. So, and in an article, Gluten-Free Diet, it was stated that the gluten-free diet offers no nutritional or performance benefits because some athletes have been owing their improved success to going gluten-free, and it's false. Something else. There's some external force. And in an article, Dyer's losses feed gluten-free gains. Some experts were talking about it, and they were like, actually, this is only a fad diet, because oftentimes, whenever people go on this gluten-free diet, again, a cookie is still a cookie, and so they're gorging themselves on gluten-free things because they're like, oh, yeah, this is better for me. No, people often gain weight whenever they go on the gluten-free diet. And so, even though we're all young and we're all skinny right now, eventually our metabolisms will catch up with us. So you might be wondering, well, what is the better option? Well, cdc.gov had the information for you, and I'm going to present it. So, as well as Rachel Quay, she talked about it. So, she was talking about the people who actually have to avoid gluten, so celiacs, and the people with the similar disorders. And she was talking about how she would like really take an interest in her students because she worked at a university. She was just observing, and she noticed that when people with celiac disease or needed to go gluten-free switched to whole foods rather than the gluten-free option, she just noticed that chronic malnutrition or just how they were, like whether they were tired all the time or whatever, they just got a lot better, she said. And so she, instead of gluten, likes to use complex carbohydrates. So it's like sweet potatoes, squash, quinoa, many things, and she combines them with a protein and a vegetable for a balanced meal to help these kids get better. And you can see through her work that she's really passionate about helping them and helping people. And so non-celiacs and weight loss, so this involves a lot of us in this room, unless some of you are gluten-free and I don't know about it. So according to CDC.gov, as I was overlooking it, they mention how healthy weight loss is a lifestyle. It's not just some 2 to 3 month program that you go through. It's choices you make day to day, and ultimately healthy weight loss is 1 to 2 pounds per week. Some people just want to lose it all like that and just melt that fat off, but that's not healthy. And so they said like how it was gradual. And so to get started, they have 5 steps. 1 is make a commitment to yourself and to this diet and to a healthier lifestyle. There's a lot of health benefits to trying to lose weight. You know, you avoid a lot of cardiac health stuff, problems. And second, after you make that commitment, after you say, yes, I am going to do this, you need to take stock of where you're at. And don't necessarily like go to the internet, like talk to your doctor, compare to where you were maybe 10 years ago or where you were when you're like us and you're young, healthy, and fit. And then after that, you set realistic goals. Like, I'm not saying that the sky is not the limit, but you're not going to lose 50 pounds in a month. That's not healthy, and that's not good for you either. So set realistic goals. Say maybe by the end of the month, I want to have lost 8 to 10 pounds because that's healthy. Next, you need to identify resources for information and support. And again, this is like going back to what I was talking about, and essentially what this whole speech is about. Like, don't trust the internet or places with .com behind them. Don't trust social media on how you should do your diet. You need to go looking for places like cdc.gov, so .gov behind it, .org. Talk to your doctor again, because those people know the real causes behind obesity and the things that will really help you to achieve overall better health. Number 5, continually monitor yourself. Find some way to reward yourself. You know, for me, that would look like, oh, well, I'm doing really good at eating healthy this week and exercising, so I'm going to take myself out for a pedicure, because who doesn't love a pedicure? Am I right? Yes. Their second chunk, what? Sorry, men who don't get pedicures. Their second chunk to how to improve this once you get past those 5 steps is to improve your eating habits. And they have 3 R's behind that. Reflect, replace, and reinforce. So reflect is essentially you look over how you eat right now. You look for triggers that make you want to eat unhealthy, whether it's going to the ice cream section of the grocery store and that makes you automatically want ice cream and you can't resist. So you need to look for triggers, and you need to look where you're eating unhealthy, and then you need to go to the second R, and you need to replace. And that is where you're replacing that cheeseburger for maybe a healthy salad or chicken or something healthy that is not going to give you diabetes or be counterproductive. And in all of this, you need, like I mentioned earlier, you need to reinforce. Positive reinforcement because if you get burnt out, that doesn't help anybody and you're not helping yourself. So you can't just be hardcore. And another thing they mention is like, don't eat unrealistically. Like, you know, some people are like, I'm gonna live off of cabbage soup for a month and I'm gonna lose weight. And yeah, you might lose a lot of weight while you are eating that cabbage soup. But I can imagine cabbage soup would get old and you can't live off cabbage soup for the rest of your life. And so they're just encouraging you to make realistic changes. They don't have to be big drastic ones. I don't know about you guys, but it's so much easier to make that drastic change at the beginning, you know, while you're all hyped up, like, yes, let's lose weight. But then you get so burnt out so quick, and again, that doesn't help you at all. And their third part to this is 60 to 90 minutes of daily exercise. It's going to overall help you to lose weight. And some of you, your eyes might have gotten big, like 60 to 90 minutes a day. And any single mother or people who just have a really busy schedule, their eyes get big at that. Like, I cannot afford that. But they mentioned that it can vary. So it doesn't have to be you go for an hour-long run, because I don't know about you guys, but I don't want to go for an hour-long run. It can be 20 minutes of abs in the morning, and then maybe a brisk walk on your lunch break, and then a nice evening stroll or a nice evening jog at the end of the day, just so you're up and you're active. That will help to produce the results that maybe you intended your gluten-free diet to achieve. And so, to conclude, I want to encourage you all the next time you see one of these fad diets, because they're always going around, because I think that people like to look for like different shortcuts to achieve this sort of goal. I encourage you to do the research behind it like I have done today, and just take away that gluten-free is not good for you unless you have celiac disease. It can often cause you to become malnutrition, and it can overall make you gain more weight and therefore be counterproductive. Thank you.